gi or no gi? It's the oldest, most heated argument in jiu-jitsu, pitting tradition against modern-day speed. For years, grapplers have battled it out in dojos, on online forums, and cage-aside. Today, we're settling it. And no, this isn't just another opinion piece. We're digging deep, dissecting the arguments, and putting each style under the microscope. We're going to make the case for the gi, the crucible of technique and tradition. Then we'll explore the case for no gi, the arena of athleticism and modern combat. By the end, we'll deliver a final verdict on which style truly reigns supreme. So, whether you're a brand new white belt wondering where to even start, or a seasoned black belt dug into your beliefs, stick around. We're finally putting this argument to rest, the case for the gi, the tradition. To really get this debate, you have to start with the roots. The gi, the classic BJJ uniform, isn't just clothing, it's a tactical tool, a direct descendant of the keikogi from Japanese martial arts. When you step on the mats in a gi, you enter a world defined by one thing above all else: friction. And that friction is the heart of the gi game. Let's talk about the most obvious feature: the grips. In gi jiu-jitsu, your opponent isn't just a body. They're a web of handles and levers: sleeve grips, collar grips, lapel grips, pant grips. Each one opens up a universe of control. This is why people call gi training human chess. Every grip is a move. Every counter grip is a response. It forces a slower, more methodical pace. You can't just explode out of a bad spot when your opponent has a deep collar grip and your sleeve. You're forced to think, to solve the puzzle, and to dismantle their control piece by piece before you can advance. This deliberate pace is arguably the gi's greatest strength as a teacher, because speed and raw athleticism are neutralized by all that fabric. You have to rely on pure technique. Leverage isn't just some idea in the gi, it's a physical reality you have to master. You learn the nuts and bolts of breaking posture, off-balancing someone, and applying pressure in the most efficient way. Roger Gracie, one of the most dominant gi competitors ever, built his entire legacy on this. His game wasn't flashy, it was suffocatingly fundamental, a masterclass in using the gi to crush space and create overwhelming pressure. This focus on grip fighting leads to an arsenal of attacks that just don't exist in no gi. The whole library of collar chokes, from the simple cross choke every white belt learns to the crazy lapel wizardry of Keenan Cornelius's worm guard, are all products of the uniform. Entire guard systems, like spider guard and lasso guard, depend on using the sleeves to break an opponent down. For gi purists, this isn't just a different way to roll, it's a deeper, more complex, and more technical version of jiu-jitsu. Then there's the self-defense argument, a core pillar for the traditionalists. The logic is simple. In a real fight, an attacker is more likely to be wearing a jacket or a hoodie than a rash guard. Gi training, they argue, prepares you to use an opponent's clothing against them. A collar grip becomes a grip on a jacket. A sleeve grip is basically the same as grabbing a coat cuff. For anyone living in a colder climate, this argument holds a lot of weight. The gi player sees fabric as a weapon, a tool for control that a no-gi specialist might completely miss. But we have to be honest and talk about the dark side of the gi, the very things that sparked the no-gi revolution. The biggest knock is that the gi can become a crutch. All that friction lets you stall and hold on, letting you get away with sloppy technique where a no-gi player would have lost the position. You can use a death grip to make up for bad body positioning. You can tie up a better athlete in their own lapels, a strategy that vanishes the second the pajamas come off. Critics also say that focusing too much on gi-specific grips can hold you back. Sure, the calloused fingers and crazy grip strength of a gi player are legendary, but what happens when those grips are gone? The argument is that only training in the gi can slow down your raw athleticism, your explosive moves, and the body-on-body control that's crucial in a more dynamic fight. It creates a style that, while deep, relies on a set of rules that aren't always there. So, the case for the gi is strong. It's the home of technique, a slower game that builds a deep understanding of leverage. It gives you more weapons and, some say, has a direct link to self-defense. It's the traditional path. But is it the best path for the modern grappler? To answer that, we have to flip the coin. The case for no gi, the modern application. If the gi is human chess, no gi is a high-speed car crash. It's jiu-jitsu stripped down to its rawest form, your body against theirs. No lapels to hang on to, no thick cotton sleeves to stall with. There's only position, pressure, and pace. This is the world of the modern professional grappler, and its case is built on speed, realism, and athletic evolution. The most obvious difference is the grip. Without the gi, that whole web of fabric handles is gone. Control is now all about wrestling ties, the collar tie, underhooks, overhooks, body locks. This completely changes the game. You can't hold someone at a distance with a sleeve and collar anymore. The fight is instantly closer, more physical, and way more dynamic. This lack of friction creates an insane pace. Positions don't last long, and scrambles are everywhere. A scramble is that chaotic, split-second explosion where both people are fighting for dominance. In no gi, that's just another Tuesday. This environment creates a different kind of athlete. While the gi player builds a vice-like grip, the no gi player needs explosive speed, agility, and a gas tank that never ends. You can't be static. In the slippery world of no gi, standing still means getting left behind. This focus on wrestling and dynamic movement has driven a ton of innovation. Takedowns, for example, are way more important in high-level no gi. The fight starts on the feet and stays there much longer, blending wrestling with jiu-jitsu. But the biggest evolution in no gi has been the submission game. With no collar chokes, a new holy trinity of attacks took over: guillotines, darce chokes, and the most effective and controversial system in modern grappling: leg locks. Sure, leg locks exist in the gi, but they're often super restricted. In no gi, especially under rules like ADCC, the entire leg lock game is open for business, including heel hooks. This completely reshaped the sport. Athletes like Gordon Ryan, widely seen as the no gi GOAT, built their careers on ridiculously complex leg entanglement systems. The heel hook especially became the great equalizer, a submission so powerful it could end a match in a flash, no matter who you are. This changes everything. Positions that were once pretty safe in the gi suddenly become minefields for your knees and ankles. This leads us to no gi's claim of practicality, especially for MMA. An MMA fight is a no gi grappling match. There's no jacket, and everyone's sweaty and slippery. The skills you build in no gi, wrestling takedowns, clinch work, controlling a slippery opponent, and submissions that don't need clothes, all transfer directly to the cage. It's no accident that almost all MMA fighters focus their grappling training on no gi. It's simply a better simulation of their sport. Even in the self-defense debate, no gi makes a strong case. While the gi fan points to jackets, the no gi fan points to a t-shirt ripping off in the first 10 seconds or a fight on a hot day. No gi prepares you for the worst-case scenario where there's nothing to grab. It teaches you to control the body itself, a skill that works no matter what anyone is wearing. Of course, no gi has its own critics. Gi purists argue that the slippery, explosive nature of no gi can be its own crutch. It's easier to just use raw athleticism to get out of a bad spot instead of solid defense. They argue that beginners, especially, can develop a bad habit of relying on speed over technique, leading to a shallow understanding of jiu-jitsu. So the case for no gi is one of modern, direct application. It builds athletes. Its techniques are what you see in the UFC and on the biggest professional grappling stages. It represents the constant evolution of the gentle art, the turning point, the but. So we have two solid arguments. The gi, a technical art that builds a deep foundation and prepares you for fights involving clothes. And no gi, a fast-paced spectacle that mirrors modern combat sports. The advice you'll get from most coaches is pretty diplomatic. You should train both. And honestly, that's great advice. The gi refines your technique and no gi sharpens your speed. They complement each other perfectly. Many of the best no gi champions today, like Mika Galvão and Nicholas Marigali, are also world-class black belts in the gi. Training both makes you a more complete grappler. But that's not why you clicked on this video. We didn't promise a safe, diplomatic answer. We promised a verdict. We promised to answer the question, which is better? And to do that, we have to look past personal preference and see where the sport itself is going. The final verdict, the resolution. To give a real verdict, we have to first ask, better for who? The answer changes completely depending on your goals. Let's break it down. Verdict for the hobbyist and self-defense practitioner. If your goal is fitness, a mental challenge, and practical self-defense, the real answer is to do both. But if you have to start somewhere, the old school wisdom is right. Start with the gi. The slower pace forces you to learn the why behind the techniques, not just the what. Learning to deal with the friction and grips of the gi makes everything in no gi feel faster and more intuitive later on. You build a defensive foundation that's tough to find in the chaos of no gi. For this person, the gi is the superior starting point. Verdict for the aspiring MMA fighter. For anyone whose dream is to fight in a cage, the answer is brutally simple. No gi is supreme. Your sport is literally no gi grappling with punches and kicks. Every minute you spend on a lapel choke is a minute you could have spent drilling your guillotine defense. While the gi offers some side benefits, your primary focus has to be no gi. The pace, the grips, the scrambles. That's what you'll use when it counts. In the world of MMA, no gi isn't just better, it's the only one that directly translates. Verdict for the modern competitive grappler. Here it is, the heart of the debate. This is for the athlete who wants to be a professional in the sport of jiu-jitsu. For a long time, the IBJJF World Championship, fought in the gi, was the most prestigious title in the sport, period. The list of gi world champions is a who's who of technical masters. But the ground is shifting fast. We are now in the era of professional submission grappling, a spectator sport built for an audience. Promotions like ADCC, Who's Number One, and the UFC Fight Pass Invitational are giving athletes a chance to build real careers with serious prize money and mainstream attention. And this entire pro ecosystem is built on one style, no gi. The action is more exciting for casual viewers. The pace is faster. The athletes are more recognizable to an MMA-friendly public. Gordon Ryan has reached a level of fame and wealth that was unthinkable for a pure grappler just a decade ago, and he did it almost entirely in no gi. The trend is undeniable. While the gi will always be the soul of traditional jiu-jitsu, no gi is its professional future. So for the grappler who wants to be a modern pro athlete, our verdict is this: no gi is the better path. It offers more money, more visibility, and it's where the sport is headed. A foundation in the gi is priceless, but specializing in no gi is the key to a professional career today. All right, that's our verdict based on where the sport is in 2025. But this is jiu-jitsu, and we know this debate will rage on long after this video is over. We've made our case, and now we want to hear yours. Drop your vote in the comments. Are you Team Gi or Team No Gi? Let us know which style you think is better, and more importantly, tell us why. Did you start in one and switch? Do you think training both is the only real answer? Let's make this comment section the ultimate forum for the great debate. And if you found this breakdown helpful, do us a favor and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. It's the best way to support what we do. Until next time, we'll see you on the mats.